Well, the Chicago Bears have gone ahead and finally done it. The Bears have officially traded the number one overall pick in the 2023 NFL Draft to the Carolina Panthers, and boy, did Ryan Poles go ahead and get a haul in return. In this trade, the Chicago Bears are receiving pick number 9 and pick number 61 in the 2023 NFL Draft. They're also receiving the Carolina Panthers 2024 first round pick and 2025 second round pick. On top of all of that, the Chicago Bears also went ahead and addressed their wide receiver need and got DJ Moore in addition to all that draft capital. Now, in return, the Carolina Panthers are going to be receiving the first overall pick from the Chicago Bears. This is going to enable them to go up and get the quarterback that they want. They are going to be able to get their guy as no one picks before them, so all the quarterbacks are going to be on the board for them here. So with this being said, I kind of want to get into the trade a little bit. In my opinion, the Chicago Bears absolutely won this deal. The fact that you can trade back to 9 and address other needs, but you also get that 61st overall pick in this draft to kind of, again, address the variety of needs that the Bears currently have. But you're also getting all that future draft capital to kind of build a strong foundation for the next couple years to hopefully be long-term sustainable. But on top of that, they're also, like I said, addressing that wide receiver need and getting DJ Moore, who I think DJ Moore is going to pair really well with Darnell Mooney. And then you got kind of like a little bit of a big slot gadget guy with Chase Claypool. But they also have big, reliable tight end Cole Kmet for now. So for me, the Bears really made out like bandits in this trade. With that being said, on the other side of it with the Panthers, I don't think that this is the worst trade ever for the Panthers. I get it. If they can go out and they can take, whoever it is, CJ Stroud, Bryce Young, Anthony Richardson, whoever they end up viewing as their guy, if they take that guy and he develops over the next handful of years and he becomes the franchise quarterback for the Carolina Panthers for the next 15 years, I mean, people are going to look back at this trade and be like, it was a steep cost, but we got our franchise quarterback. It's worth it. So for me, it's all going to kind of depend on the Panthers and who they end up taking with this pick. Honestly, this is probably the right move to do from Carolina. I do understand that this is a big haul, but in the NFL, you basically have a quarterback or you don't. If you don't, it's really hard to compete. So for me, going out and taking a swing with the bat here at a franchise quarterback is something you got to be doing. Go out, trust your scouting department, do what it takes to put yourself in position to get that guy and solidify the most important position in football. So kind of to summarize that, I do think the Bears won it, and this is going to set the Bears up for a very bright future for the foreseeable 3, 4, 5 years, as long as they can kind of hit on these picks. As for the Panthers, yes, they gave up a lot. They gave up a lot. But at the same time, like I said, if they can turn this into their franchise quarterback for the next 15 years, it's probably worth it. Because finding an answer at quarterback for 15 years is tough to do in this league. So with that being said, I kind of want to do a mock draft. It's just a one-team mock draft. It's not, the full first round or anything like that. So I picked the Chicago Bears for this one just because they have more draft capital to work with. They have more needs. It's going to be a little bit more engaging. So I want to go ahead and start this draft. We're going to go with the Chicago Bears with their new pick, 9 overall. So we're going to start it up here. We will go take a look at who was taken. So Bryce Young. So personally, I actually think that CJ Stroud is going to end up being the guy for the Panthers here at 1. Is he my number 1 ranked quarterback? Not necessarily. One of my next videos here coming up, I'm working on it now, is going to be the quarterback rankings and the quarterback breakdowns. That'll be coming out soon, and you guys will kind of see who my quarterback 1, 2, 3, and so on is. Is this what I would do? Possibly. I'll save that for another video down the road. But I do think that the Panthers are going to be looking at CJ Stroud here. Bryce Young's a great pick, but I feel like David Tepper and the coaching staff here in Carolina, especially with Josh McCown now as the head coach quarterback, I really think that they're going to fall in love with CJ Stroud and kind of what they've seen from him in film and at the combine and everything there. I do also think that he's a better fit for what Frank Reich generally seeks for in his quarterbacks. So I do think that Stroud might be the pick here at 1, but Bryce Young is also a phenomenal pick. With that being said, we'll kind of move on here. It's really interesting how this fell with Will Anderson falling to 6. Overall, this is a solid first 8 picks here. This could be the way that the draft goes right here. So with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna look at pick number 9 here for the Chicago Bears. All right, so we're on the clock here. We're gonna go ahead and we're going to be scrolling here. Paris Johnson still on the board. We could address that lineman. Devin Witherspoon. I think wide receiver is now off the board. I think we're going to be looking at the offensive line here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take... We're going to go ahead and we're going to take Paris Johnson. I think Paris Johnson is going to be a good pick for the Chicago Bears. He's kind of got that inside-outside versatility. So I really think that he could help the Bears in a lot of spots. I think that he could bump to left tackle. We could probably move Braxton Jones to the right tackle. But worst case scenario, if they do want to keep Braxton Jones at left tackle for some reason, you could maybe plug Paris Johnson in at right tackle. So I think that he kind of gives the Bears some good offensive versatility on that offensive line. So I'm going to go there. And then at 54 here now, this is our other pick. This is our pick. This isn't the pick that we got from Carolina. This is the one that we received from Baltimore in the Roquan Smith deal. Looking at the board here, John Michael Schmitz went right before us. So what I'm going to be looking at is probably still looking at the trenches, still offensive line, defensive line. Let's see. Got Joe Tippmann. Got Edebarrier. Deion Henley's good. We also have Felix and Udike Uzama. That'd be a good pick there. We do kind of need edge a little bit. We definitely need interior defensive line and linebackers. Wow, that's really good value there. But to be honest, I don't think he's gonna be here in the real NFL draft. So I actually kind of, now that I think about it, that's kind of unrealistic that he's on the board right now, in my opinion. So I'll probably stay away from him for that reason. One surprising pick that some might find is that Zach Charbonnet might be in the conversation here because the Bears obviously had David Montgomery as their guy last year. However, it sounds like he's not going to be coming back. It sounds like he might be going to, last I heard, possibly Kansas City, possibly Atlanta. So for one way or another, I don't think he's going to be coming back to Chicago. So I do think that running back could be in the conversation here, as Khalil Herbert's a great complimentary back, but I don't think that he's a guy that you really want to go into the season with as your true RB1. So let's go ahead and make a pick here. We're going to go ahead and we are going to take, like I said, Felix Udike Uzama is really good. I just don't think he's actually going to be here in real life, so I think taking him here is a little unrealistic. So we're going to take Edebarrier out of Northwestern. I think he's really good, super athletic, especially at his size, running a phenomenal 40-yard dash. He's kind of a little bit of an athletic freak. You can put him outside, inside a little bit. I think he's a really good pick here for the Bears in late second round. Moving on, now we got pick 61. This is the pick that we ended up receiving from the Carolina Panthers. We're going to look here. Oh, we got Joe Tippmann on the board still. Luke Wepler's not bad. Sam Laporta's pretty good. Carl Brooks, not bad. Nick Herbig. Zach Charbonnet. Keanu Benton. Because like I was saying, we really need to attack these trenches. These wide receivers are probably going to be off the board for me because we've addressed it via trade with the Panthers. I really think Zach Charbonnet is going to be in contention here. I don't know that I think the Bears will spend a second-round pick on him. I think they might look to add a guy later in the draft or possibly free agency with all the money that they have. It's tempting, though, because Zach Charbonnet is my definitive RB3. Wow, that's tough. I think what I have to do, though, I think we have to go Joe Tippmann here. He is just the best player on the board. It's a position in need on the offensive line. I know we already took Paris Johnson, but you can address the interior line as well with Joe Tippmann. I like Joe Tippmann here. We're going to go there. All right, 64. We still got Luke Wepler there. Williams. Carl Brooks is still on the board. Oh, Zach Charbonnet is still there at the top of the third round. I was honestly thinking that Zach Charbonnet was probably going to go right here to the Eagles. I think that would be a really good fit for him. I don't think the Chiefs would have taken him, but I thought he was going right here. But the Eagles went with Rashee Rice. That's interesting. I don't know how I feel about that, but we're the Chicago Bears here in this scenario, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna pick for the Bears. Honestly, Carl Brooks is in contention here, but yeah, I really think that Zach Charbonnet here is going to be a great pick for us. I think that'll give us a solidified running back going into the season with Khalil Herbert kind of operating as the complementary piece. So that's why I went Charbonnet there. I think that the running back position is a bigger need than people are kind of letting on. I know they have other needs, but you put Zach Charbonnet in that offense now with DJ Moore, Darnell Mooney, Chase Claypool, you got Cole Kmet at tight end, and now you're kind of improving that offensive line there with Joe Tippmann and Paris Johnson. Hoofda. You are talking about a potential elite offense here developing in Chicago. So with that being said, that's kind of what led me to that Zach Charbonnet pick. Now, I think we're kind of out of the offense here. I think that we've done enough on offense. We really need to address that defense. Because even if we're putting up 40 points a game, it's not going to matter if our defense is putting up 45. Or if they're allowing 45 points, like, we're not winning games. So we need to start addressing this defense here. I've kind of neglected it a little bit so far because we do have needs there. Dorian Williams is still on the board. I think this is an easy pick for me. Dorian Williams is a really good player. He's a really good athlete out of Tulane. I think that he's got a chance to be a really good linebacker here for us with Jack Sanborn. That could be a really nice 1-2 pairing at linebacker for us. So I'm going to take Dorian Williams here, and this is a pretty easy pick for me. Moving on, we have another pick in the fourth round, I believe. Yep, this should be our comp pick. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to scroll. Isaiah McGuire is a good pick. Kobe Turner. Oh, interior D-line. That's really nice. Kobe Turner. Mojo Ajomo's not bad. Deuce Vaughn. Let's keep looking. Keandre Corbin's a big guy. He could be a nose tackle. But we run a 4-3 in Chicago, so I don't think that Corbin's going to be a great pairing for us. Zach Kuntz, he's not bad. He's really athletic tight end. Something to consider. Chandler Zavala, I really like him. He's one of my sleeper interior offensive linemen. He could come into an offense and surprise and be a starter day one and actually perform at a pretty high level. Oof, this is tough. Xavier Hutchinson, but again, we're not going wide receiver. Juice Scruggs, he's a nice little piece. He's someone that I could see being like a flex interior lineman, like your first reserve interior lineman. I think we're getting too far down the list though here. I like Isaiah McGuire. I like Kobe Turner. I think we're going to go in one of these two directions. Well, let's see. Let's go ahead and take interior guy. Yeah, we're going to take Kobe Turner here. I like this. This is a good pick for us here. Oh my, and Isaiah McGuire's still there for us. Isaiah McGuire, Jack Kuntz. It's basically all the same guys. Chandler Zavala, that's a good pick. But we already kind of solidified that offensive line with Joe Tippmann. We still have Cody Whitehair. At the left, or at the other guard spot, we're going to have Tevin Jenkins. We got Braxton Jones. We got Paris Johnson. At this point, we would be taking Chandler Zavala to be a reserve lineman, which in the fifth round is still not bad. I like that. But I do think, like I said, we need to keep attacking that defense. It's fun. It's fun to do that offense and kind of see what Justin Fields could be because we need to get him protection. But I think we've already addressed that. We have a really good offensive line at this point, a young, promising line at that as well. So I think as much as I like Chandler Zavala, I think Isaiah McGuire is going to be a good pick for us here. We've kind of already solidified our linebacking core a little bit with Jack Sanborn. We already have him, and then so adding Dorian Williams is going to be a good pick for us. That solidifies that. We got Kobe Turner on the inside. I think we're going to go another edge here. Yeah, we're going to take Isaiah McGuire here. Okay, so now we're going to move on. We are here in the middle of the 5th round. Let's see what we got on the board here. Chandler Zavala is still there. Oh, all right. I don't see anything else that's jumping off the page at me here. I'm taking Chandler Zavala. The biggest thing is going to be solidifying that offensive line. And I think that we've seen an effort from Ryan Poles. If you look at their draft last year, like half their picks were offensive linemen. Granted, there were a lot of them taken in the 6th and 7th round late and everything. So it's kind of dart throws. But we can kind of see with Ryan Poles being a former offensive lineman himself, he really, really wants to get that offensive line right. And having 5 good starters is a good starting point. But we've kind of seen some health issues kind of popping up with Tevin Jenkins. He had his back injury. He had a moderately severe injury that kind of made him miss some games last year. He's a little bit of, a question mark. So honestly, grabbing that big interior guard in Chandler Zavala, throwing him on the bench for right now, but he can plug in as a starter anytime if someone were to get hurt. I like Chandler Zavala. We're taking him here. I think this is a really, really good value pick for the Bears. Moving on, we should have another pick here in the 6th round. No, we don't have our 6th round pick this year. Okay, so I guess that we're going to be waiting until the 7th round, and I think this is actually our last pick. So for me, we're looking here. Muhammad Ibrahim, Matt Landers, Drake Thomas, Darius Davis. We could go a lot of different directions here. I will say, though, I don't know if he's still on the board. He might still be on the board, but if he is, I think he's going to be a really good pick. Yep, he's still there. All right, so for me, Justin Fields is our starter, right? Justin Fields does a lot of things well. In my opinion, if you're kind of a fan of the channel, which I hope you are, you know that we're Justin Fields supporters on this channel. I think that he is the answer for the Chicago Bears. However, with his style of play, he runs a lot. He does pretty well to protect himself from hits, but there's still times where you see him taking some big hits. And if the Bears truly want to be contenders, right, you got to have that backup quarterback. I think Nathan Peterman is serviceable. I mean, he can be your backup. If you go into the season with him as your backup, I mean, it's not ideal, but it's not like, oh my God, like you didn't address that need. Like, what are you doing? It's someone that you can get by with. However, there's a player on this list here that I think is actually a big time sleeper at the quarterback position. I think he'd be a perfect pairing with Justin Fields as a backup, and that's Dorian Thompson-Robinson. He's got a strong arm. He's a little too aggressive at times. He has some big time aggressive tendencies, so he will put the ball in harm's way on occasion, trying to make a big play. However, he's got all the fundamentals there to be a high-end backup. So looking at kind of what we've already done, we've addressed that offensive line, big need. We've addressed the wide receiver position through the trade with the Carolina Panthers and getting DJ Moore, so we're good there. We've even addressed our running back position by getting Zach Charbonnet. So that's a really good offense right there, right? So I'm pretty confident there. We got our 5 offensive linemen. We already got Justin Fields. We got our running back. We got our receivers solidified. We've already addressed the defense as well. We added 3 guys on the defensive line, 3 good players on the defensive line. We added a good linebacker with Dorian Williams. He's going to be a good player for us, I think. I really like him as a sleeper. Our back end is pretty decent. We got Shaquan Brisker. We got Jalen Johnson. And then we got Gordon, Kyler Gordon. He's going to be a good nickel for us. So I think Kendall Vildor is our other corner as of right now, who's not ideal, but this is all pre-free agency, so we don't really know what the Bears are going to do with all that cap space that they got. Maybe they add another corner in the free agency period. So with that being said, because I feel like through this draft process already, we've solidified our offense, solidified our defense a little bit, and then we have that free agency money that's the unknown right now because we don't know who they're going to sign yet. That starts here in a couple days. I think that solidifying that backup quarterback position with Dorian Thompson-Robinson would be a great pick. That's my opinion. I think he's really underrated. I think he has the potential to be one of the best backups in the NFL. So with that being said, let's kind of see what PFF gave us. I'm using the PFF mock draft simulator if you're not familiar with it. It's pretty user-friendly. Let's see. So they're grading us. Paris Johnson, B-. Edibarier, A+. Yeah, that saw that coming. Joe Tippmann, B+. Zach Charbonnet, B-. Dorian Williams, a C? Oof. I don't know if that's better than a C to me, but I like Dorian Williams, so I'm higher on him than most. Kobe Turner, to fix that defensive line a little bit. They gave us an A- on that. That's nice. Isaiah McGuire. See, it was between them for me at 133. I forgot that we had 137. So to grab both of them was phenomenal. Then we're grabbing Chandler Zavala there in the 5th round. I think that's a really good pick to kind of solidify that offensive line depth, like I was saying with Tevin Jenkins. So, I mean, we really attacked the offensive line here with Paris Johnson, Joe Tippmann, Chandler Zavala, but we also really attacked that defensive line with Edibarier, with Kobe Turner, with Isaiah McGuire. I think that we really, really solidified our trenches to develop over the next year or two to hopefully become a team that can really win down there in the trenches, because that is where football is won and lost, in my opinion. But in addition to those trench players that we upgraded, we also added Charbonnet. He's a really good player. Honestly, I think that he could end up being a better player than David Montgomery. So to get him there to pair with Khalil Herbert is a really good pick there at the top of the 3rd round. But then we also added Dorian Thompson-Robinson there to be our backup quarterback over the long term. I think he's going to be an ideal pairing with Justin Fields, because your offense can keep operating the way that it does with Justin Fields without skipping a beat here with Dorian Thompson-Robinson. And then the last player that we added was Dorian Williams, him pairing with Jack Sanborn to kind of control that middle of the field with the linebacker position and kind of get everybody aligned and everything like that. I love that pick. To be honest, if this is the way that the draft went for the Chicago Bears, and you're a Bears fan out there, like, to be honest, you have to love this draft. This couldn't have worked out much better, in my opinion. We've addressed everything that needed to be addressed. We even addressed some ancillary pieces like Zach Charbonnet. This is a really good pick. Or this is a really good draft for me. This haul was in part made because of the trade for the 1st overall pick. We ended up basically getting Paris Johnson and Joe Tippmann. Joe Tippmann was the complete addition, but Paris Johnson was the one that we took instead of who we would have taken at 1 overall or anything like that. So you tell me what you think. I think that this draft worked out really well for the Chicago Bears. If I was a Bears fan and this is the kind of haul that we left the 2023 draft with, I would be very, very encouraged for our future. But like I said, you guys tell me what you think. I like to hear what you guys have to say. It kind of opens my eyes to some other thoughts and possibly can kind of change my direction in future videos, depending on, what you guys have to say and what your feedback is. So please leave your thoughts and comments in the comments below. Until then, we'll see you next time. Peace.